All right, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It is a leg day today. We're going to be focusing on our lower body strength and conditioning. So we got a nice sweaty cardio circuit at the end as soon as we are done working on our legs. So we're going to start off with a warm-up. I am wearing shoes today because we are going to be doing some higher impact stuff, but towards the end. I have my dumbbells and my loop bands over there kicking it, ready for when we do start our strength stuff. We're going to start off strictly body weight with you guys with your warm-up. At the end of our mat, you can come and join me here, standing hip width apart, soft knees. We'll bring our hands down to the floor into our walkout. When you guys get down to the bottom here, we're going to step in, and then walk back up to the top. That was 1, and we're going to do that 4 more times to make it 5 total. So we're trying to get that stretch in the back of the legs, stepping in. We'll do both sides. And then you can walk it up, reach the hands over, and do it again. There we go. All right. So we'll go through 5 of those total, trying to get our foot as close as we can towards our hand. But it's early still, we're still warming up, so not forcing anything. All right, so once you guys are done 5, we are going to turn around on our mat and stand with our hands beside us, stepping back into a lunge, sending both arms above our head. We'll turn in once towards that front leg, reset, stand up, arms come down, and now I'll switch and do that same thing on the other side. So we're going through 10 of these total, 5 per side. Straight arms, trying to move through our torso on that turn. So we want our chest and our shoulders and our head to all turn with us. And we're going through these with control, maybe a little bit of balance going on at the bottom there. We'll do 10 of those toe, and we're alternating those. All right, so take your time with those. Once you guys have come to an end, we will bring ourselves down onto the ground into a bird dog. So we're going hands and knees, all 4, shoulders stacked over the wrists, hips stacked over the knees. I'm gonna have my toes like this for this one, because as we extend, I wanna kick my heel like that, and then I'll reach out to the side slightly, center, bring it back in, and do that on the other side. So I'm reaching out, resetting, getting a little bit of work happening in our core as we reach those 2 limbs away, which you'll feel going on there. And we're going through 10 per side, 20 total, alternating right and left. So we'll go through these ones, taking our time again, not rushing anything. We want to keep our core nice and tight to avoid any kind of arching happening in our back. So maybe we even want to kind of bring it up a little bit into a crunch. And then you'll feel more happening in your glute because we won't be arching our back like so. So if you're feeling that, you can try that out. And we'll go through those, again, 20 of them, 10 per side. Those ones are always harder than they look with that little extendo out to the side there. So we'll go through 20. Then we are back up, standing. We got 2 more. I do believe so. Yes. Okay. So this next one, we're going to get ourselves into a squat stance. And I want you guys to just imagine that there is something right in front of you. We're going to squat down and have one leg come and kick up and over that imaginary whatever it is, unless you actually have something real that you can put in front of yourself that you don't mind kicking. And we're going to kick right and left, squat, and then try to swing that leg up into a kick. And we'll go through 10 squats total, 5 per side. Now it's easier said than done, but we want to try to control too much sway that's happening in our body on that kick. And you don't have to get your leg as high as mine. I practice my ninja kicking, but if yours doesn't come as high, that's completely fine, but do try to get it as straight as possible. So we'll do the 10. And then we are back at the end of our mat into one more set of these walkouts. So we're standing again, hip width apart. We're coming down to the floor, into the step in, and now is the time to shine. We're going to add in that nice opening, and we'll do that on both sides. Open, and then we'll take it back up to the top, and trying to get a bit of a stretch through the back of the legs. Whoop, whoop, and do it again. So you guys are finishing off with 4 more of these, making it 5 total. We want to step that foot in. Maybe you'll get it a little bit closer now because we've done all that stuff to loosen up our hips, our legs a little bit. And so maybe we can get it closer, and then we open up, trying to exhale with that open, and you'll feel mid-back, low back, the whole back, getting a nice dynamic stretch. So let's get those in. Then we're going to get you guys started. So once you are done that one, we're going to grab our equipment. So I have slid over my 8-pound dumbbells and my 2 bands, and this is what I'm going to be using for this first part here. We have a hip bridge. So I'm going to be doing this on the floor on my back. If, just as last week, we talked about this one, if you want to do this off of a bench or a chair or something elevated, it is going to make this feel a lot more challenging, and it might make you feel your hips a little bit more. I'm going to do it off the floor, and I'm going to be using bands, which I also recommend you guys do if you have them. I'm going to use both my bands too. I'm going to make this one nice and strong. So we'll see, this black one is quite strong. So you guys can join me down here on the floor, and if you want to set up with a chair, just know that it's going to be more challenging. But for this one, the most important thing is that you are feeling your glutes. So you can just pick your poison on which one you want to do. Second band, if you have it, is going to go underneath the knees. First band, stronger one, is going to go above the knees like this. If you don't have bands, it's totally fine. If you only have one, put it at the top here, and then just follow along with the one or without if you don't have them. So we're in this position. I want to squish the back to the floor. Our heels are there, but we have to reach to touch them. You can't touch them right away. So we're in that nice position there, and then we're going to push up and then open 1, 2, 3. And then we drop down, touching that lower back, and then we go back up, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go through 5 of these. So that was my second one. And go back up, 1, 2, 3. And I never want to let my knees come closer. I only want to go further. So I start right here, and I can feel the tension. I can feel the work happening. And then I go up, feel a lot more, but now I'm opening 1, 2, 3. And that's where we're getting that work happening on the sides and back of your hips. So we'll go through the 5, and then you guys can take those off. And the nice part is that we are like on the floor, which makes it a little bit easier to band and unband. And then we're going to stand up and pair this one with our Sumo Deadlift. So we have been back on the Sumo Deadlift train now for the last couple of weeks. We are going to be working with 12 reps today. Last week we did 10. So in terms of equipment, weights are ideal, holding dumbbells in front of us. Sumo stance, and we can have the dumbbells like so or like so. It's really a preference up to you. I like to have them like this so that they don't get in the way of my knees. So we want to stand up nice and tall in the Sumo stance, hips back, and then we bend the knees into that deadlift. So we're going through 12 reps total. Now most of us are quite limited on weights, so it's not like we're going to be going like super, super heavy on these. So let's go right into our first working set with the weights that you're going to use. If for some reason you guys do have like a various amount of dumbbells and you have really heavy ones, you could start off with a little bit of a lighter set if you'd like. Keep in mind though, we are going to do 4 total, and this one does count as one of your 4. And sometimes I throw in those sneaky warm-up sets. So let's go through these 12. Again, hips back, sinking into it, pushing the knees out, going through our set 12. And then we're going to go back to back in between these 2, 3 more sets. So once you guys are done these Sumo deadlifts, we're back down on the floor, and you can get right back into your bands and start to do your thing on your second set of that hip bridge with the triple abduction. So that's when we're opening up against the band. Those of you who don't have dumbbells, rather than following that sumo deadlift like body weight. If you'd like, what you can do is keep your bands on and sub yourself in for a sumo squat. It's going to give you a little bit more if you don't have dumbbells or anything weighted to hold in your hands. And keep in mind, you can always use like household items. Really good technique is to get like a backpack or a bag and like just put a bunch of heavy stuff in it. You know, like soup cans, maybe not soup cans. I wouldn't want to like break a soup can, but heavy stuff, books, whatever it is, and then put it in there, and you can use that as a weight, which is a great option if you are only stuck with bands, because this is a really strong exercise, and the deadlift that is, and so adding weight really helps us get more out of it. All right, so when you guys are finished your second set down there, again, it's only 5. It's 1, 2, 3 at the bottom. I know it sounds nice, like only 5, but it should really feel on that one. We're gonna go right into this one. Standing up tall, weights in front of us. We're gonna pull the shoulder blades together, strong core, and then we push the hips back. As soon as the weights are above our knees, we bend them and push them out. And so we end up with our hips sitting higher than our knees. We want this hip to be higher than the knee. We don't want to be down here unless you are doing the sumo squat, and then you can get your hips down if you have that band around your knees. All right. All right. I need a second bobby pin. My hair keeps falling out. Thanks. Just being right here at my desk. I just put one in. All right. So we'll go through our 4 rounds of this total. And you guys started with the hip bridge. So we'll be finishing off with the final set of deadlifts. We've got one more after this one. Yay! Okay. So yes, even if you do not have bands, same rules apply. Squishing down the back, going up, opening 3 times. And regardless if you're using bands or not, we want to make sure that we're actually feeling this one, that we're not just like going through it and like getting it done without actually feeling the work happening in the back of your hips. The way I put this in here, like it's kind of foolproof, but still, if you do need to think about it a little bit more on this last set, we can hold, we can take our time with the pulses, or when we open in that abduction, when we're opening our knees, we can hold that. And that longer you take in that one, it's just the harder it's going to be. You know this. You might want that. You should be feeling it. And if you're not, well then you're probably not going to be getting much, if any, out of it. So let's feel it. All right, so last set, you guys. This is it. 5 down there. 12 up here. Woo! Yes. There we go. Good job, you guys. So final set of sumos. All right. So let's get it in. There you go. Good job, you guys. Shoulder blades together. Push the knees out. Oh, yes. Looks so good. So we'll get these 12 reps in. And then you guys can, yes. All right, so set number 4, the last one. So take your time, guys. We are speeding through this today. We have technically 2 minutes until we should be starting the next part here. So that is plenty of time for you guys to complete your final set, which you are most likely starting. If not, maybe already started. It's okay. You got time with it to get her done. There you go. Yes, looks so good. Perfect. Sumo deadlifting, sticking our butts out. Always telling you guys to do that. That's going to help you keep your form correct, keep your shins in that upright position, keep your back straight so that we don't hurt ourselves and that we feel all the right things. All right. Nice work, you guys. Okay, so we have our final set here. I'm going to give you 1 more minute to finish up, which is most likely just enough time. If you are already finishing up, you can just grab yourself some water, some H2O, walk it off. Think about how great you feel after doing that. Hopefully you're feeling your backside, your butte, the glutes. That is what I was going for there. Although the deadlift, really, there's a lot of stuff going on there from our back muscles to our legs, front, back, and the butt. So once you're done, just grab a quick sip of water, and we are going to move you guys on to the next part here, which is going to involve a hamstring curl. Now, the reason why I'm starting off with that, although it's not our first exercise, is because you might want to set up for a specific type of hamstring curl. We've talked about all sorts of types, from the towel hamstring curl to the body weight one to the dumbbell one. So I'm going to use the dumbbells for myself, where I lay on my tummy, hold the dumbbells, and pull that into 90 degrees. If you guys do have the option to do the one with the sliders, or maybe with towels, or like fuzzy socks or something like that, on a slippery floor, whether it's hardwood or laminate or tile or whatever it is that you guys got going on, that's a great option, okay? I don't have my towel out for me because I'm going to be using the dumbbell for this one, but if you guys want to do that one instead, that is something that you can do, okay? The rep range is going to be 12 to 15, so there's a little bit of room for play there. So that's going to be the second exercise. The first one is our single leg deadlift to step back lunge. Now today, you guys are only doing 6 reps per side. So we're going to be holding weights here, doing the deadlift, and then doing the lunge, but we're only doing 6 per side. Now, we've been working up on these. We've been getting up to like 10 per side, which is obviously a lot more than 6 per side. So what we're going to try our very best to do today for these 4 working sets is make this so that we cannot do 7. Okay, or maybe we could, but it wouldn't be the prettiest. We want to make 6 feel really, really hard. So how we're going to do that is by, of course, adding resistance if you have it. So if you have dumbbells, hold them in your hands. If you have a band, you can loop it around opposite foot. Stand up nice and tall, same posture, shoulders together, soft knee. And then we'll go through that deadlift. This one is kind of standard. We don't need to worry about making this one too hard, but it's the lunge. For some of us, we can even try to incorporate those skater squats in that I keep kind of throwing in and hinting at. So we'll go through these on both sides. You guys can start your first set right now. Then we can lower ourselves down and try to just bring that leg down without any use of this back foot. Now that's not going to work for everyone because those are really hard. Hopefully I made them look really easy, but they're really freaking hard, you guys. So if that's not working because you simply just aren't used to them, or maybe you have sensitive knees, don't do it. Just do the lunge, but just remember not to use your back leg to push off too much, because too much of this takes the work off the front leg. And again, it's just making this feel a lot easier, which we don't want. We want to make that 6 feel like, whew, we want to stop. So let's do this on both sides. 6 and 6. Assis. So yeah, with these ones too, skater squats, the reason why I kind of started with that is that's a really great option for this one. And just the way we've been progressing in this program with these workouts that we're doing together, that is something that you most likely can do. Maybe even not for all the reps, but maybe you can at least try it for like the first 2, 3, 1, doesn't matter. Here they go. If it's not happening, that's totally fine. Okay, so with this one, we have the hamstring curl, which I already kind of talked about. 12 to 15 reps, we have a range going on here. So if you want to use the one with the towel laying on your back, or maybe you actually have like a set of sliders or something like that, that is great. Another thing that I cannot show you because I don't have it here, but like stability balls, medicine balls, you can always put those under your feet and pull those in instead. But this is what I'm going to do. With my dumbbell set up like this, And I'm gonna start off with my feet beside the dumbbell so I don't have to get back up and adjust them. So from here, I'll lay down on my tummy like so, and I'll grab that dumbbell between my feet, and I just shoulder check to make sure it's in the right place. And then I'll have my hands here. I'm gonna rest my forehead on my hands, and I'm just gonna talk to you guys here and watch myself there. So I make sure that I'm going to 90 degrees. So you can just check back. If you're doing this one, make sure that you are only going to 90. Anything past here is not so good. It actually puts a little bit of pressure on our knees. So we want to stop at 90, down right before we touch the floor, and then 90 degrees. Now the harder you squeeze your feet, the harder this one is going to be. So 12 to 15. So you can stop at 12, or you can go up to 15 if you feel like you want those extra 3 reps to really feel the back of the legs. So we should be feeling your hamstrings, the back of the upper leg. All right. So with this one, we got some similar stuff going on in these 2 exercises. So when you guys are done, if you would like to take a quick sip of water, that is because if we were to go right into our next set of that single to lunge, you most likely would not be the strongest after doing this. So we'll just take about 30 seconds of rest here to just let our legs just have a memento to chill out before we do our next set. And that's so we can have a stronger set. Because the hamstrings, they work in both of these ones, both the single leg deadlift and the lunge and the hamstring curl. So you just want to let them chill. It doesn't need to be for too long. About 30 seconds is fine. Which is usually the amount of time that I can talk to you guys and distract you between your sets. So we'll start our next set here. If you guys have not already, going through the same thing as we did on the first set. If you have a more challenging side, like my right side here, I would start with this side, start with your harder side, get it out of the way, and then whatever you do over there, take over to your stronger side, and that way you don't promote any kind of muscle imbalance, one side way stronger than the other, which is completely normal, you guys, but it is something that we can make sure doesn't get worse. But we have to think about it a little bit, like starting with the weak side. Mostly I'll have one. So we'll get these in here, 6 and 6 of these ones. So single deadlift. We got some balance going on here on these ones, but not quite as balance demanding as just doing like a single leg deadlift, because we are allowed to touch our foot down at the back there. That being said, to get a little bit more out of this one, between the deadlift and the lunge, so when we come up here, we'll try not to touch the foot down. And then we'll go down, and then we'll bring it up, and it's hovering. And that way that we will get some of that serious balance work that we all know and love. All right. So reminder for those of you who don't have any equipment. Let's say you don't have dumbbells, you don't have a towel and a sliding floor, anything like that. Loop bands don't really work so well for this hamstring curl. What you can try instead is an extended bridge. So we'll get ourselves back into that same position on our back here. Lower back into the floor, bridge, and then I'll just walk my feet out further than they normally were. And now when I go up into this hip bridge, I'll feel those hamstrings working a lot because of that way that my feet are in this position here. So it's almost like you want to go beyond 90 degrees, and then it targets more on the back of the legs. And this isn't ideal. If you have dumbbells or if you have an option to slide your feet in, that's better because we're getting the work on the curling part of that exercise, and the leg is bending like that. So it just works them a little bit more directly. Fluff. But it gets the job done if you guys don't have it, which happens. It does. All right, so same thing. You guys are going to take a little bit of rest, and then we'll start our third set. And we have 2 more of these. 4 total. Okay, so third set. From the band peeps, kind of explain to you, show you guys too. We can have opposite band looped around opposite foot, and then go through this same thing with either woo balance, the skater, or the step back lunge. So you can either just drop the knee down like this, or you can step back into that lunge with this band too. Woo! And it burns. It already burns. I know you guys are feeling this one. This is, I mean, you know, this one is in our program. It's one of my favorites, the single deadlift to reverse lunge, because it really just, it makes you feel the back of your hips a lot. Really great one. And we get that sneaky balance in here, which you guys know I love. So third set, fourth set, same as the first and second. Trying our best at least. All right, hamstring curls. So just like any other exercise, I'm always talking about this stuff. How to make things harder without changing weights, because that's usually not an option for us to change weights, because it's all we got at home, typically. So going slow makes a huge difference, because the longer it takes you to complete each rep, the longer it'll take you to complete the set, the longer that tension is on your muscles, so the harder that it's going to be. So it really does apply to this one as well. And although I am giving you that rep range, you could just make 12 really hard by going slower rather than going up to 15. Or maybe if you feel like you can, that's okay. But just by, again, squeezing the feet and really controlling the way down, that is going to make this feel a lot more. And sometimes you also have to think about it. Like actually think about feeling those guys back there, and it will make you feel more. Usually. All right, 12 to 15, the range. And then we are at our last set. So we'll take another dog rest. Just want to stay down there, stand up, walk it off, grab a bit off water. We'll do our final round. Yay! Okay. All right, you guys. Last set of these two. We'll get them in. We are doing it so good for time. Set. Okay. Yeah, you guys are good. We got about 3 minutes until we really should be starting the next part here. It's plenty of time to finish up this last set. Maybe just enough time. There you go. Good job, guys. Some more rest. Think about those legs, what we're feeling, hamstrings, the glutes. We'll finish up strong here with our final set of these two. So we want the 6, 6, and then 12 to 15. Woo! Which is going to take us to the finish line of this superset. We have one more pair of strength exercises after this. And then y'all know what time it is, because I already warned you. So we're going to get all hot and heavy in our conditioning circuit. Yay! Takes us 12 minutes. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So you guys know those short ones are always extra spicy, but that's okay. All right, so let's get this last final set done of these ones. Going through, trying to balance, trying to not use that back leg. I know that one's tough. And you can work your way up to it. If you tried those today, those skater squats, this is the disclaimer. If you want to get better at those, something that you can try next time I mention them and I kind of talk about them, try them again, see how they do. If not, you can always elevate the floor. So you can grab yourself like a cushion, or maybe don't use a pillow because that's going to wash it after, but something to elevate the floor. So like I have my foam roller I keep pointing at over there. I don't know why I keep pointing at it, but maybe I would use that just to make the floor higher, and then I wouldn't have to go down so low in that skater squat. Hopefully that makes sense. You want it to be soft too. But anyways, final set, you guys. Lift the weights, and then we're gonna move on. So 1 minute until we should be moving on. And the next part is on a timer. The next leg strength part. And this is set from yesterday. Awesome. Okay, so get her done, you guys. I'm gonna give you 1 more minute, less than actually, 33, until I will start talking about the final part here, which is gonna take us to the end. All right. Okay, so as you guys come to an end there, grab yourself some water. We're gonna move on to the final 2 exercises, which are gonna be done off of this timer. So I have it set, okay. It's set for 1 minute on, I thought it would show, 60 seconds on, and we have a 10-second transition time. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot because it's not a lot. It's not meant to be rest. It's literally just time for you to get from one exercise to the other, and so that you have the full entire minute to work on that one. So it actually takes us technically 11 minutes and 40 seconds to get through this. So let's start. We're gonna do 4 rounds total of this, starting off with our wall sit. So that's one that we have been working on for a while now. We're gonna get ourselves into a wall sitting position. If you don't have a wall that you're comfortable sitting against, or you just don't have one to sit against, you're gonna hold a squat hold, okay? So I'm gonna press start so that we don't waste any time or energy. Ready, set, here we go. Now for some of us, this 60-second wall sit is going to be really damn hard. Like, we are going to struggle to do this, if not be able to do this. So if that's you, then you just work on holding this, okay? If you find that this might be easy for you, something that you can try is taking both of your toes and lifting them up to the ceiling. And that is going to make us involve these muscles, the quads on the top of the thighs. And if you try that, it just is fire up in there, okay? So maybe you want to do it a little, you're halfway there with 30 seconds left. And if you don't have a wall, we're going to just sit. You can still do the same thing with the toes. It's a little bit more challenging because the hips want to kind of lift up, or you can just simply hold, sit a little bit lower maybe. You guys have 15 seconds left. Oh, yes. There you go. 3, 2, 1, and we can stand ourselves up. Nice work, burning thighs, okay. 10 seconds, we're gonna get ourselves into a side lunging position. Now, if you'd like, you can start this first set with body weight. So toes out, wide feet. We're gonna send our hips back and down to one side, and then we come all the way up and then back and down to one side. Now with this one, you might want to adjust your feet a little bit, like I need to at the bottom here. I have to kind of widen up slightly. We want to really make sure that we're pushing the hips back so that our knees and our shins stay upright. We don't have the knee driving forward like this. We want to stick the butt out all the way up, down, all the way up. So make sure that you're not staying low. We want that full hip extension to get that work on the back of the hips. Now you guys have 20 seconds left. So if you're kind of feeling good in this, you're feeling like you want to make this a little bit more challenging, adding weights will do that for you. So if you have dumbbells, you can hold them down here. If you have a band, you can just hold it sideways down here in front of you. And we are 3, 2, 1. All right. Woo. So I know, I think this wall sit is definitely harder, which we're going to go into right now for our second set. So you guys are going back down into this wall. We're sitting against the wall here, or the squat hold. You want to pull our belly button in. If you're against the wall, think about pushing your lower back onto the wall. And then again, hands as far away from the thighs as possible, because this is cheating, okay? It is making it easier. You're giving yourself some support, whether it's in the squat hold or in the wall sit. Try your best not to do it. If you're really not going to make it, you can sit yourself up or stand up, or maybe just kind of have a bigger angle in your knees So I'll show you guys from this side. So ideally 90 degrees, but you might want to sit up a little bit higher if you're still working on holding this minute-long wall sit, or maybe if you are someone with sensitive knees, this one, you know, this might just make it be so that they don't hurt, which is better. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Nice job, you guys. So again, if you felt like that side lunge set was not so bad, if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can grab our weights. And we'll hold them in front of us, the same place as those deadlifts, as the sumo deadlift with the palms together. And then we'll go through our set. So hips back and down. You can bring your upper body forward slightly to help promote your hips to go back. Because if I keep my chest up like this, and if I go down, I'm going to be feeling my knees because now I'm pushing my knee forward. Whereas if I stick my butt out, have my chest come down, I'm not going to. I'll feel more of the back of my hips. And you can always play around with how low you're going, your depth. Some of us might not be comfortable going all the way down to 90 degrees. That's the goal. But if you have something that, you know, doesn't feel good up in there, then don't do it. Okay, 15 seconds left. Safety first. We know this though. Nice job, you guys. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. Time. Good job. Second set done. All right, let's get into the third. Back into our wall sit. I know this, I told you this 10 seconds was not rest. It was just time for you to move into the next one. All right, so we're back here. Third set. Trying to breathe through this. They're only going to get harder as we go. I'm not going to lie to you guys. They're going to burn more because we're building up and we don't have any rest for your legs to breathe and chill. So this is going to get progressively harder, which means it's most important that you push yourself harder so that we can do the same thing that we did on the first two. Try to just hold it here. So by now, you might find that those toe lifts that you were doing might be too much. So you might want to leave them out and just simply hold this. Okay, you guys have 20 seconds left here to stay right there. Breathing through that one. I know. You got this, though. You're so close. 10 seconds left. Whoop, whoop. Good job, you guys. 3, 2, 1, and peel yourself off that wall. It burns. We're going to get ourselves into our third set of side lunges. Now, if you have a band, again, you can hold it in front of us here, and then go through our set. Getting hips back. Toes out. You want to push the knees out so that your knees never touch your forearms. We want to really drive them out over our pinky toes. And that's going to help us involve more on the sides of our hips and less on our knees. 30 seconds. Good job, you guys. We are halfway there. There you go. So we're trying to think about the back of the legs, the sides of our hips, pushing us not only in, but up to the top in between each rep. 20 seconds. Nice job, you guys. We got this. Last 10 seconds. Woo! 3, 2, 1. All right. All right. Final set. Back to the wall sit. Number 4. Then we are done this stuff. I'm going to finish up with the last part. We're going to get this done first. Let's do it. Right into it. So we're taking these nice deep breaths, trying to keep our legs parallel with each other, 90 degrees, hands away from the legs. If you're holding the squat hold instead of the wall sit, we'll try to stay low, keep our chest up so that we're not folding down. It's a very common thing that happens in this squat hold. Halfway, you guys. You are done wall sitting for today, for the week, until maybe next week. 20 seconds left. So just breathe. Try to take those nice, deep, controlling breaths into your tummy. Inhaling, exhaling, trying to just get through this. Take 3 more of those, and you will be there. Less than 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, time. Nice work, you guys. Ooh, wall sit done. All right, finishing up with our final set of our side lunges. Oh yeah. So there it is. Not a lot of time at all. Let's do it. So we'll go through trying to pace ourselves. It's nice that we don't have to think about counting our reps. You can think more about what's happening with your body, trying to get that form and that technique on point, driving the hips back, and then all the way up at the top. But we don't want to be arching our back at the top. We want to think about doing that ribs and pelvis together so that we're really squeezing our butt and kind of tilting our pelvis under. 30 seconds left, you guys, for you to get that going on here. There it is. Yay. Nice work. Let's do it. 15 seconds. We so got this. This one we can get through. I told you the wall sit was the hard one. I think I was right. 3, 2, 1, time. Good job, you guys. Okay, rest. Nice work. So grab yourself a sip of water. We have about 2 minutes here until we are going to start our final part here, which takes us 12 minutes to do. So you guys are going to be working off of a AMRAP timer. So AMRAP is as many rounds as possible. We have a 12-minute time cap today. So I'm going to give you guys 3 exercises, and we are going to try to get through as many rounds as possible in this 12 minutes. Now, we did this recently with a circuit that I asked you guys to actually pay attention to how many rounds you got. It was the one with the burpees, which there may or may not be today, but that is not necessarily the case today. This AMRAP circuit, we're not going to be redoing this one specifically like the other one. So if you don't want to count your rounds, you definitely do not have to. Okay, you can just go and go. But if you're someone who's maybe a little bit more competitive, or maybe you just like to know how many rounds you get, then count them, okay, and find out how many you can do. So what we're going to do is we have 10, 15, and 20 reps for exercise 1, 2, and 3. So exercise 1 is 10, exercise 2 is 15, and exercise 3 is 20. You guys are going to go through these, no rest in between, except at the very end. If you need to take some rest, that's the only place that you can take it, okay? Exercises 1, 2, and 3, we're just going to go and get through, and then we'll take a little bit of rest at the end, which we'll talk about. I'm going to explain these ones first. So first one is a burpee. You guys have 10 reps of these burpees. Now you have options today. You can do our full-on burpee, chest down to the floor. That looks like this. Woo! Or you can do our athletic burpee, which is not chest down to the floor. Okay, so obviously, yes, that's a sneaky push-up in there. So take it or leave it. You're doing 10 of these total. For my low-impact friends, you guys are going to step out, step in, and then just stand up to the top. So that's going to be our first one. Second one is going to be our invisible ball slams. Welcome. So you guys are doing 15 of them. So that's in that squat stance, invisible ball. We've been here before, and you'll go through counting 15 reps total. All right. Last one. Again, you have options for this one. Ideally, I would like you guys to work on your star jumps. Okay, we're doing 20 total. So that's in this athletic stance, and then we jump into that star position. Now, if you are not a jumper, you can do knee to elbows instead, and you'll count every rep as one, doing 20 total. And then this is going to be you guys, okay? So hopefully you don't have any questions, because you guys are all muted anyways and are watching the replay. So we're going to get you started here. I'm going to start this timer, and we're going to start so we can finish. Okay, starting in 3, 2, 1. Go. No starting beat, unfortunately, but let's do it. So if you want to go chest to the floor, we go through 10 reps of those ones. There it is. Good job, you guys. Body weight conditioning. Woo! Burpees. Gotta sneak these in, of course. All right, so you're counting. We're getting 10 total. Windows opening now. All right, so once you guys are done that one, we have our next one, which is our invisible ball slam. So we want intensity, lots of effort on the way down, trying to slam that air as hard as possible. Control on the way up. So exhale on the way down, inhale on the way up. We're trying to move everything quickly on the way down, faster than on the way up. 15. Woo! These ones. So back to back to back. Let's get it, you guys. Come on now. The ball slams. All right, so we'll get through those 15 of them. In theory, each of these takes us about 45 seconds, about a minute. Last one's going to be our star jumps. So if you guys are joining me on the jumps, we're going legs out, arms out, trying to land softly. If you're joining me on knee to elbows, it's 1, 2, 3, and you're going up to 20. Or if you don't want to count every rep, because I get that, you could go 1, 2, and do 10 instead. Just remember that it's secretly 20. All right, so let's get those in, you guys. Now, if you're doing, well, especially if you're doing the star jumps, okay, you're probably feeling what I was kind of explaining there is that you might want to just take about 30 seconds of rest before we start our second set. If you're not feeling like that, then you don't have to take the rest, okay? You guys can just go right into your next one. But with the way we're doing this, with the way these exercises are put together, it's meant so that you can take a little bit of rest at the end. So if you're feeling like that, we'll take it. If not, we'll skip it and we'll move on to the next set, and maybe next time you will feel like doing it. So back into the second set. Yes, you guys have 9 minutes left. So much time. So you most likely are going to get about 4 sets in, maybe 5, depending on how fast you go. But I won't take any less than 3. So I want you guys to try your best to get at least 3 in, or else I will come through this screen and make you do the last one. No, I'm just kidding. But that is the goal, is to get at least 3 rounds, which we can handle. All right, so second set of these burpees, 10 of them total. Whatever version you're doing, whether it's the athletic one without the push-up, or maybe you want to go chest down to the floor, full-on push-up, it is up to you. You guys know, though, the full one is going to be a lot harder. There is a push-up in there. Woohoo! All right. So we'll get through those. Working next onto our invisible ball slams. You guys are counting 15 of them. So in this one, even without a ball, more with a ball or more with a weight, but even without a ball, sometimes you can accidentally arch your back because we get really excited, we want to go fast, and we want to get these done quickly, and then what ends up happening is we go to the top here and we kind of do this little hips forward situation, and then we come down, and now we're kind of having this kind of thing happening in our back. So to avoid that, pulling your core and try to keep it tight the entire time. So belly button in, just as if I was having you on the floor, kind of pushing your back down. If you can do that, it's not only just going to help you get a little bit of core work, but it's also going to be that built-in weight belt that we have, which are our core muscles, and that is going to help you keep everything in here safe. From your lower back, and take from me, because you guys know, me and my back, we have to always be conscious. I always have to be conscious of what I'm doing. And I know this one can sometimes aggravate it, especially with the weight. But I've also noticed it body weight, because these invisible ball slams, I did these so much when COVID started. And yeah, but I really just had to be aware. Okay, so we'll get those in, and then we have our star jumps. Hopefully you feel like stars. Knee to elbows, whatever you guys are doing, counting up 20 of them. Woo! And we're just about halfway through this circuit. 6.5 minutes left. So yeah, you do have to hustle for those 4 sets. Woo! All right. So again, once we're finished, that final one, those last Star jumps, we will take a little bit of rest here, which you most likely will need. Try to keep it under 30 seconds though, just so that we can get going and complete our next couple sets, and you guys are gonna have lots of time to rest when you are done this part. So 6 minutes left right now. So we gotta get to work here. We wanna get in 2 more sets because that is literally all you guys have time for. So we'll try to push for 2 more, definitely 1 more, not 1.5, 2. Take what we can get in the next 5.5 minutes. Let's go. So 10, 15, 20. Burpees. Woohoo! Get it. Good job, guys. So trying to move quickly. Arms and legs, regardless if you are low impact or high impact. Trying to move with intention. So we'll go through our 10. Woohoo! Burpees. Get those done. 15 ball slams. Again, remembering that core activation that I was talking about. Trying to pull that in. And if you do that and hold it there the entire set, just try it and see how you feel at the end of your set. You're going to feel like you just did a bunch of core work because you really are resisting a lot of that flexion and extension that happens when we come up and then down. So tighten it up and you'll get that work the whole time, which I want for you guys, which is why I am emphasizing it so specifically. Woo! All right, so we got this one. Ooh, star jumps. 1 more round after this because you guys have 4 minutes left. Okay, slam that air. Woo! Good job, you guys. All right. Oh, star jumps. Definitely not one of my favorite ones, but we'll get them in here. I'm working with them, trying to get the arms and legs as straight as possible. But it's really important if you're doing this one that you are landing soft. So not making any noise, but trying to land soft on your knees and your ankles so that we don't have like a really hard landing, because if you do that, it is your knees, your ankles, joints, they're not going to like you very much. They're not going to be very happy. So we'll try to keep it soft to prevent injuries so that you can also go faster. Because you got just over 3 minutes, you guys, so we really do have to hustle if we want to get 1 more set in, which I believe we can. So if you're just finishing up, you have about 15 seconds to 3 minutes. It technically takes just about 3 minutes to get through one of these rounds. Woo! Giving you that forewarning in case you want to start. All right, so we'll get these in, you guys. We have officially 3 minutes left. So let's get it done. Trying to get through 1 more full set of these 3 exercises, which are going to take us to the finish line. We're going to be done after this, although we will have a nice 2 to 5 minute cool down. We're going to just breathe and rest. So let's get our heart rate up as high as we can in this final set. We want to earn that rest that we're going to get. Let's do it. There it is. Last set, you guys. Burpees, 10 of them. Breathing through this. This is it. There you go. 2 minutes left. Nice job. So moving on to those ball slams. I'm trying to tighten up the core, working through 15 reps of them, getting our hips down to 90 degrees. There you go. Last chance on these ones. Nice work, you guys. So we'll breathe through this. Finishing up strong. 1.5 minutes left. Whoop, whoop. All right. Oh, we are so close, you guys. We have just over 60 seconds, minute and 10. So let's get it in here. If you are finishing up, if you want to just keep going on that one, if you want to pick one and just keep going on it or start your next round, it's completely up to you guys. But you have 60 seconds left to get this work in. So let's try to get in our final set here. Hustling for it though, because you have to. Because time is going to beep. Actually, it's going to be my morning alarm that goes off. 40 seconds, you guys. There you go. There it is, last set. Start jumping our way to the finish line. 30 seconds left. Trying to get in 20 of these total, which is not going to be easy. So you guys take yourself right to the end. Woohoo! Whatever you are doing, 15 seconds, come on. Breathing through this one, using that exhale, landing soft. You got this. Whoo! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you guys are so very done. Yay! All right, we are gonna rest right now. You guys can walk it off, breathe, regroup. Oh, we lost our 2. That's okay though. Good job in there, Bobby. I see you huffing and puffing. We all are. Okay, so you guys can grab yourself some water, walk it off, because that is what we're going to do for the next minute, 2 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes. If you really were feeling work on that, like I am right now, just explaining it and having to do it at the same time, but you should feel like your heart rate is quite up there and you actually need to take a couple minutes. If you feel that way, then good job, because you did what I asked and you pushed yourself. So we'll take this rest, we'll take these deep breaths. We are gonna have a couple stretches that I'm gonna leave you guys with to do, but you can just start off right now, grabbing some water, keeping moving around the space and room that you have. And I am going to just leave these ones with you guys today. I'll leave you to hold a couple sets on your own, but I want to show them to you. They're down on the floor. So you just keep going up there, keep breathing and resting it out. So the first one that I want you guys to work on is going to be your bow and arrow. So this one's going to be for the lower back, mid back, and your hips. And I know you're not going to be mad about having to do this because this one feels so good. So I'm going to lay down on my side and I'll stack my legs and stack my arms. We can also do this one with that weaved under leg. So if you are quite mobile in your back in this one, then you can try this one instead. Or you can start with your knees stacked like this. And then we will exhale and cross the body. And we're just going to hang out here. So as soon as you're feeling more like a normal person, like you can have a conversation with someone without, not being able to breathe, then you can come join me down on the floor and you can hold this for 60 seconds per side. So I would suggest to do more than one set if you guys have time to complete maybe 2 or 3 sets per side, holding it for a minute. Your back, your lower back, your body is going to be so happy because this one feels nice. We get the chest, the hips, and the back stretching. So this is the first one. Again, you'll do that on both sides. So you can come over to the other side and then open up over to the side. And this is going to be the first one. And then the second one that we're going to work on is for the back of the legs, the hamstrings. So it's going to be this seated hamstring stretch. So once you're finished that one there, you can have a seat up in this one here with the straight legs on the bottom of the floor here. And everyone is going to be feeling different in this one. Some of us can sit up in this and like, we are good to go. Others are like, oh yeah, because they are tight in some place from the back of the legs to the lower back. It really just depends on their body. So you find whatever position you need to so that you can sit upright. Wider legs helps that. Narrow legs makes it harder to have a flat back or a straight back. So play around with it. Once you find it, you can walk your hands forward and over to one side. So we can hold one side for about 30 seconds. And then you can walk them over and hold the other side for about 30 seconds. And then you come back to the center. And you're going to get a big opening all the way from the calves, hamstrings, butt, all the way to your lower back. And it'll be specific to the side when you bring it to the side. So when I walk over, I'll feel a stretch now on this side. So you guys can take your time with this one, really focusing on stretching out the low back and the back of the legs today. So anything else that you guys want to stretch, feel free to just throw in here. You're nice and warm. Yes, you are. So you can stretch out your glutes a little bit more if you want, your hip flexors. Thank you so much to who had to jump out early. Hopefully you guys have a great weekend. I will see you live hopefully next week, Monday, Tuesday. And my internet is officially fixed. So thank you for being patient with me, and hopefully that does not happen again. But I feel like I always learn when stuff like that happens. But anyways, thank you guys for another amazing week of training, and I will catch you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Bye. Goodbye, guys.